How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your host, Rising Oblivion. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about this brand new Shin Megami Tensei 3 Demi-Fiend Figma statue. So, we did know about this Figma statue. We had seen pictures of it not being painted, but we actually have this Figma statue fully painted and all of the accessories that you can have with it. So, yes, it is the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Demi-Fiend, which is good. There's been other figures we have seen of this little lad before that did not look good at all, but these ones actually look pretty nice. The paint looks good on this. It looks like they did a good job with this figure. It has full articulation, which is nice, but another cool thing, well, I'll show this picture here showing it, you get a ton of accessories with this one. You have different hand gestures, you have one of the menorahs, you have the sort of like spear there, a different facial expression, and like the fireballs that Demi-Fiend can hold as well. So it looks like you're able to customize him quite a lot when it comes to all the different accessories that you have here and different hand gestures and movements and facial expressions. I think one facial expression is just the plain face and the other one is like a angrier looking face, but we have more pictures and I can show you here. There's him holding up both of the fireballs, so it looks like you have to change the actual hands to actually hold the fireballs there, but this is a dope stance. So just holding both of those fireballs at the sides, like, man, that's actually pretty damn sick. Another one here, we have him holding the menorah. If you've not played Shin Megami Tensei 3, menorah might be some kind of like a weird thing to be seeing, but actually the menorahs have a very specific story plot point when it comes to getting the true demon ending. You have to find all these menorahs in order to unlock new parts within the Kalpa, and by doing all the Kalpas you get the true demon ending, which is kind of the true ending for SMT 3. So it does have a very pivotal plot point. It makes sense why they're having this be one of the little items that you can have Demi-Fiend hold. We have another picture here of just like another standard looking just pose, and then another one here which is actually the one that you see him do on the cover. So you can do like the typical gesture that he does on the cover and stuff like that. I think someone in my chat said like this is the pose that they always have Demi-Fiend in, but like Demi-Fiend never does it in game, which is true. In a lot of the art he's posing like this, but you never like fully see him do this in game for pretty much anything. And then of course you have his like big blast attack. I can't remember the name of it, but it's the attack that you get where it's like the super good attack that is strength based and is like a one-shot kill for the most part. You guys will double it up and buff it up, and it ends up being like pretty much a boss killer late game. So you get a really cool Demi-Fiend statue that is very customizable. It does come on one of those little stands though that attach to its back. I think most of the Figma statues do that. Figma is known for having very good quality statues. This thing is a little bit pricey, but there are some websites out there that you can find this Demi-Fiend statue on. I think Demi-Fiend is one of the only few that I would actually consider getting just for how much I love Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne. I think Nocturne is one of the best, not only just Meg 10 games, but one of the best JRPGs or best games that I've ever played. The story just feels so good and everything else. I could go on and on about Nocturne, but this is a pretty dope statue. But let's move on to some other points of news when it comes to other ATLUS games. Okay, so this next bit of news is sort of just about Shin Megami Tensei in general. It's a very broad thing that we're going to be covering here, but Sega did an interview with the Shin Megami Tensei 5 director Shigeru Komori. So he did a little bit of an interview with the investor relations website. Komori gave a brief overview of the game in addition to talking about plans for future events and future games within the Shin Megami Tensei series. And in doing so, he talked about the original Shin Megami Tensei and also Shin Megami Tensei 5. He talked about Shin Megami Tensei was a series that burst to the scene as an approaching role-playing game, so an RPG in which the storyline based on the decisions made by the players themselves. The game will return a typical image of gods and demons and notion of good and evil, law and chaos. All that stuff was basically conceptualized in 1992 with the original Shin Megami Tensei. Then he went on to talk about Shin Megami Tensei 5 and how it had a lot of the old aspects of the games, but still had new aspects. The main characters were good. They talked about how they saw Demon Fusion, the press turn battle system, and a lot of the stuff that we know to love when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei games, but also to bring in the new things, like the quality of life stuff. Like you could say the Demon Fusion stuff, dialogue with demons, how you get demons, just gameplay stuff in general, being able to run, for instance. A lot of quality of life stuff that they added to Shin Megami Tensei 5 in hopes to not only bring in new players, but also to satisfy some of the old people. But this is the bit here in the interview where he gets pretty interesting, where he talks about Shin Megami Tensei, I guess, as a whole and what he plans to do in the future. So, he says, the Shin Megami Tensei series boasts a strong fan base both in Japan and abroad. To further expand the series' IP going forward, we hope to continue delivering a variety of titles to a wider range of players, both by releasing new titles and through a revival of past hits. Which, you know, you could technically include Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Survivor, Soul Hackers. That could potentially be exactly what he's talking about when it comes to Soul Hackers 2. I think I messed up the name on that. I meant Soul Hackers 2 being something that they were reviving. Revival of past hits. He says, our greatest fulfillment comes from knowing that all players around the world will enjoy playing Shin Megami Tensei. And he puts this in like sort of quotations, at least whenever it's talked about, it's in quotations because he means Megami Tensei, essentially, so not just Shin Megami Tensei whatever. He means as a whole when it comes to just Meg 10 games. They want to fulfill, you know, knowing that players all over the world will enjoy them by having new titles like Shin Megami Tensei 5, but also to be having revival of past hits, just like, you know, Soul Hackers 2. And we could potentially be seeing a lot of older, you know, Meg 10 games coming out of the woodworks when it comes to having them have, you know, revivals. Thanks to Sega and, you know, publishing and having some third-party things where they've been remastering games like Shin Megami Tensei 3. We also knew that Strikers was made by another people. The Arc Systems people worked on Persona 4 Arena, so we could potentially see Sega helping them publish and revive newer games and also having older games brought around. So what we know from this, what we could take from this, is that we're going to be seeing not only just new titles, but also potential revival of past hits. And this is, our entire team will step up our efforts to achieve this. So it sounds like they're kicking things up into full gear when trying to work on new titles and work on things like Soul Hackers, which is a revival of an old series. I mean, 1997 was the last Soul Hackers game, and all the way in 2022 we're going to be getting a Soul Hackers 2. That's a whole 20 years later and they're reviving stuff. At this point, when it comes to Shin Megami Tensei games or just Meg 10 games in general, or really just games from ATLUS, I guess, I don't think necessarily anything is off the table. I know some people want Jack Bros to come back, but I don't think anything is off the table from ATLUS in terms of what they might do next. I think there's a good chance that they could remaster or add a brand new part of a series. I know a lot of people want to see Raidu again. I know a lot of people want to see other series, like I said, Jack Bros, and potentially maybe some remasters and whatnot. Now, don't label me as a port beggar or anything. I know people are going to do that, but we've seen ports in them recently. So I don't think necessarily anything is off of the table when it comes to what ATLUS could do. So there's a lot to look forward here. This does mean a lot, more than we think, knowing ATLUS. It takes a lot for them to do anything when it comes to re-releasing games or bringing games back and whatnot. But I'm super excited about this. Let me know what you guys feel about this information. This good information? Do you want to see older titles come back? Let me know. How do you feel about this? I think that's going to be it for this video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe for more content. Make sure to click that bell to be notified whenever I go live again or whenever I have a new video come up. I'll keep you informed on everything coming out, ATLUS-based, JRPG-based. I will let you know. But that's going to be all for now. I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.